Hello again, everyone. Edwin Learnard back once again. In this YouTube segment, I'm going to be talking about a recent experience I had at an Expressway Inn, formerly known as the Rodeway Inn. It is located on 893 Murfreesboro Road in Nashville, Tennessee. First, I want to give you guys and gals out there a little bit of the history that I had there, and it was basically pretty good for the most part. I mean, I did register, some complaints and when I needed to. I mean, sometimes when you go to a hotel, you're going to encounter these rowdy, boisterous people, and the thing is, there's a certain noise level, and I don't think it's acceptable. I have to say something about it, I believe. But overall, I actually was satisfied. Uh, my stay there, I think some of the employees, though, they scrutinized me a little bit more than needed. I understand people have to do their job, but I think sometimes there's a thing where people can be a little bit, I don't say the word redundant, I guess that could apply. Uh, there is a thing called overkill when you do something way too much more than is needed to. But I think for me, again, the overall the stay was decent. I felt because I understand that a hotel has a certain noise level. There's certain things that go on. There's going to be some unsavory people there from time to time, but I do believe overall my stay there was good. And again, I was there for about 3 years, and but something recently happened there that was very negative, you could say, to me. Now, this experience did not involve a time where I was staying there, but I was attempting to rent a room out there again. So, this is what happens. On February 3rd, 2005, I go to this Expressway Inn. And what happens is, okay, the cab driver drops me off there, and immediately after I come out of the cab, the woman in the office worker comes out, basically charging toward me very aggressively. And she said, "There's no rooms here, no vacancies." So I'm like, okay. And I did say to her, don't have a place to go. I don't have anything. She says, well, there's nothing she could do about it. I can't do anything about that, and so on and so forth. And she was, really, I'd say, really acerbic and abrasive. It was like she didn't even know me. This person was somebody that was very cordial and friendly with me during my time that I was staying at the Roadway slash Expressway Inn. So I found this very, bewildering and mind-boggling as far as what had transpired. And she actually was trying to discourage and dissuade me from being there. She told me that I didn't seem to like the place to begin with, and it's worse now. So, ideally, if you work at a hotel, you would be trying to encourage and give the people incentive to go to stay there, not the other way around, not to alienate them, not to tell them, okay, this place isn't for you. I felt like she was basically putting words in my mouth and thoughts in my head. Yes, I did lodge, certain complaints as I was stating before, but that didn't mean my overall experience there was really that bad. I thought it was still above average, the overall experience. For a hotel, it was not that bad, I didn't think. But what happened is at the end of our conversation, I stated to this woman that was working in the office there, I said something into the effect that we were cool at one time. What is going on? And then she got really acerbic, and she said something like, "Sir, there are no rooms here," meaning, well, no rooms that were vacant, is what she was stating. And again, I was taken really aback by this whole experience, so I finally just decided, I had no choice. but to walk away and proceed to another hotel in which I was able to find something. And the thing about in a situation like this, I mean, this was just completely mind boggling what had happened. It was very perplexing because it was so out of character, I felt, for this person, considering that we had somewhat, at least I'd say, a rapport there. I mean, she was very friendly with me previously, and she had always been very amiable, very cordial. So to do something like this that would contradict how you had been previously, just again really boggles the mind. And the thing about uh, this experience that I had there, it goes to show you that anything could happen anytime to somebody. And the thing is, I was a very, like you could say, somebody when I stayed at that um, Rodeway slash Expressway Inn. I felt like I was very a good tenant, all modesty aside, just being honest. I followed the rules and regulations. I was very scrupulous, and I was very clean. I kept the place intact. I didn't leave the place disheveled. I would even go in and clean the bathroom regularly to help the housekeeper out. I would take my trash out, not just to the garbage can near the door by my room, but I would actually walk it to the dumpster. And I was somebody that was very quiet and considerate as well. And I didn't cause any disruptions or bring any drugs to the place. And you would think that that kind of person would get better treatment. I don't understand. It was like this person had some kind of animosity toward me all of a sudden, and I don't even understand what I really did to deserve it. Now, the thing is, too, is that I heard from somebody that she had been the interim manager there for a little bit, and she may have been under more pressure. Well, the thing is, this opens up some statements now regarding this. If you're gonna, why are you gonna work at do something work related if you can't handle the position? And two, if you're dealing with things that you're dealing with more pressure during the day, why are you gonna take it out on an innocent person? Maybe you don't need to be at that job if that's the case. I don't understand why people there, whether it's upper management, ownership, that it's like they condone, how people act in a way that they shouldn't. And I think this is a classic example of that. There's a thing called people skills, and some people just need to actually use this and apply it more in life. And unfortunately, this person did not show that at this time toward me. And again, I'm just was really shocked by the whole experience. And what I noticed too is that she had told me that there were no rooms available, that there were some that needed to be worked on or something. When I came there, I looked at the parking lot. It seemed very desolate to me. It seemed like there was hardly anybody there, at least at the front building that I was looking at. I don't know, I can't say anything about the back building, but when I looked at the front building, most of the parking spots were empty. So it was a little bit suspicious what she stated to me regarding the fact that there were no rooms available. So I felt like if I didn't know any better, I was thinking that she likely just didn't want me there. She was so adamant about me not being there. And the thing about this is, it's not so much that I was rejected, it was the manner in which I was rejected. It was a rejection with more anger. I felt it, even insolence as well. And there's a thing called having an attitude. You got to have really the thing about it is about having the right attitude, not the wrong one. And there was obviously some attitude that was presented toward me at this time. And this is something I may never really understand why this happened and why I had this bad experience. The thing about this is when you talk to people in a certain way, the thing about it is that you got to understand you don't know what that person is going through in their life. If you're going to act in an insolent manner to them, you could be adding insult to abject misery. When you're telling somebody that that a place is worse than it had been, you don't want to be here, what could happen is I could start telling other people that, and then it could escalate and spread. Then other people may not want to go there. So that's something to consider. So if she was just saying this to me just because she didn't want me there, the thing about it is, again, if I tell other people about this experience, they may be disenchanted and not want to go there, and that could detract potential business. So that's something to consider. And the thing is, again, when you act like a certain negative way towards somebody, again, it could add insult to abject misery. It's kind of like if somebody's computer is running slow, you're not going to add more files to it to make it worse, right? That's something to keep in mind. You don't want to exacerbate somebody's the way they feel at the time. And what I hope is, I really hope that at some point that there would be some kind of discipline regarding this situation. I don't think it's right for somebody to just act however they want to act towards somebody and then just go on living your life and being okay with what you did. And I feel like, see, there was nobody around but me and her when this took place. And I think she took advantage of this. I think if there were other workers around or there was another guest, she probably wouldn't have been quite as insolent and quite as brave in how she acted toward me. So that's also something that I figured as well. And what I want to state as well on another note, the thing too is when I had stayed there, a number of occasions I could smell, marijuana at that place. And it was emanating from a room at one number of times. I could smell it in the breezeways. And the last time I checked, that recreational drug use is not legal in Tennessee. You may want to confer that on the internet and verify, but I don't believe it is. And you're going to allow people in there to do this. But yet, someone like me that's very scrupulous, does the right thing, Mr. Ethical, honesty, you're going to reject me. Now, at the same time, I understand there's a possibility what she was telling me was very true, and there weren't any rooms available for her to rent to me. The thing I want to get at too, there's another side of this, side of the story. There is another aspect of it I need to get to that's still critical and important. Okay. Before I arrived at that hotel in that cab, I did contact the worker there to verify if there were any rooms available. And we didn't have a good connection, so I was going to call her back later on. But admittingly, I did go there and take a calculated risk. I go into the office, and that's when I found out there were no rooms available. At least that's what she stated to me. And I think what this comes down to, it's not so much I was rejected, it was the manner in which I was rejected. So that's really what this is about. And the thing about this is, and as far as recommending this place to others, I don't know if it's really that bad of a hotel. I don't know what the current situation is there because I was told again by this woman that the place was worse, which I thought was kind of a vague statement. It was worse than it was previously, and I didn't like it previously, which is really not the case. I thought the hotel was okay. It was some of the people there that would come in that they would allow to stay at the hotel because I guess they were worried more about the bottom dollar than they were about the safety and security is for some people like me. Unfortunately, sad but true. But I understand, in essence, if you're not happy with some of the people that are there, you may not like the environment, the hotel, to some degree. Yes, that may be true. But overall, I did like my experience, overall, pretty good. There were some negatives there, but that's really about all I wanted to say as far as this situation goes. And I really hope something can be resolved at some point, that something can be done where this person doesn't act like this toward other people, because it's really not the right way to be. I had gone on, I think it was TripAdvisor.com, and I saw at least one negative review on this place and the person, that I believe it was reference to this person, and stated that the person, the office or something, was rude. And because it was dated like December 2024, I think it's probably was the same person. So that's really what I wanted to get at. And what I want to warn people is that if you're somebody that's sensitive, you may not want to go to this place, because if you're going to deal with somebody that's going to be, belligerent or abrasive or what have you, it may not be for you. And there's something that I need to state as well about this, in addition to what I've already said, is that people have to understand, you want to act a certain way towards somebody and be insolent toward an innocent person. Not everybody's going to take that as well as I did on this day. Not everybody's going to be as tolerant at people like that. And you have to understand that you have people out there that can be volatile and dangerous, and you might wind up offending the wrong person one day. So it's really something to keep in mind. Being rude and insolent toward an innocent person that didn't deserve it, you really got to think about that. And the thing about it is, the way I don't know if it's really how I was born and raised. It's about values I instilled within myself, that I was going to treat people in the manner that I expected to treat others. Not everybody's going to follow that golden rule. And the thing about it is, I'm really still shocked by what happened on this day, because it was such, like, disparity in this person's personality from what I knew what I experienced previously from her. So it is a very, shocking situation, but it is what it is. And the thing is, I don't know if I would really even recommend this place to anyone, because when you go in there and you're a paying customer, you expect to be treated fairly. The rate is already pretty extravagant, and you're going into a hotel, you're going in there for a place to stay, not to be yelled at, not to be talked down to. That shouldn't come with the territory. So, anyway, that's really what I wanted to get at as far as this situation goes. Again, this is Edwin Learnard, and until next time, stay well.